All right.
Mind Ascension.
We're not even gonna talk about how many times we're gonna do this. It's okay. We'll be all right.
Back with the young god here, Brother Orion. And that's not a coincidence. Basically, let's just jump right into it, man. You know, brother, you just let me know. We just gonna go right into it.
All right. So I wanted to go to the topic about self-development and knowing where you are in your life, and just basically how society sees where you should be at your age and standard or race, and where you yourself should see yourself. So,
Well, bottom line, as everybody already knows who's watching this with Mind Ascension, we got to deal with source knowledge first and foremost. We have to go to the origin and the source of the things that we call expectations, success, education, everything that society puts upon you to dictate whether you are a productive citizen or whether you are a successful person. So at the end of the day, we're talking about a systematic structure that falls and trickles down to the worker, to the citizen, and to the taxpayer. Now, unfortunately, in black homes and black families and societies, we teach our children that education is the highest thing and most important. You can't be nothing without an education, and get a good job and a house and 2.5 children, picket fence, yada fucking yada. But I would like to address the absolute historical fact in most recent history, as a matter of fact, due to the destruction of the black family, the successful black person or family, due to integration. Because if we go back to the time before integration, we didn't have the education that we claim is our savior today. We didn't have.
we just survived. We were what we were.
It wasn't even you.
Not even just survived. We thrived.
Yes,
by
we
our own means.
thrived based on the combination of us being forced within a society after our emancipation of 1865 of slavery, combined with the original mind that we had. Whether we want to call it African or indigenous is irrelevant, but there's something inside of black people who just know how to conduct ourselves based on a family aspect, respect of the mother, father, and thriving of the family as a line or a royal line. So we have to take an extreme consideration that we were far more successful, owned more land, and at
We
a
didn't
time
even know it.
at a time where we were less educated, higher illiteracy rate, okay? And
But illiteracy by whose definition?
yes, and also separated and suppressed on an extreme aspect, which didn't really take a strong effect because we were segregated. So our oppression only came when we decided to go into areas that were dominated by whites. So my main point to saying all of that is, you're talking about the current modern standard that you have to face as a young man in society based on the conditioning of this society towards your parents or whoever in your life is telling you, hey man, you know, do this, do that, or this is the right way, that, or whatever the case may be. And you're dealing with that now when in this same so-called country or corporation, that wasn't even a reality less than 100 years ago. And less than 100 years ago, we were more successful, and we had parents who might have been illiterate or unable to read. Like, I've done videos with elders, and they've literally told me that they were raised by mothers and fathers who couldn't even read. But the mothers and fathers still had wisdom and intelligence to not only know right from wrong, but to have the ability to conduct themselves and earn trades that earned them money and a livelihood to bring up children that became successful. So don't tell me that I can't be nothing without an education. Don't tell me that success is based on the amount of degrees I possess or the prestige of the job that I work at or the career that I work at.
Now, honestly, as someone who's going into college, or might not go into college, but going into college now, I understand that what I want to do as a career, I want to be a detective.
Okay.
I know the qualifications for. I don't need to go to college per se. I don't need to to have a full degree per se, because I know that I've been fortunate enough not to be told what not to do, but nobody's told me that I couldn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's ever said the word couldn't never came up.
Okay, that's excellent.
And encouragement, well, that's a different thing, but the word couldn't never came up. So there's that. So I never grew up with you can't do that because you're this, you can't do that because you're that. Fortunately enough, I can say that. But as a kid going into college, I know that in college you don't need it. Mm-hmm. You don't need it per se, because all of our successful people in America didn't pay not one red cent for a college degree. Nothing. They didn't pay for it. They didn't go through it. A
lot of them failed at it.
Yeah.
Dropped out. Failed.
That doesn't mean just because you fail you're a genius. It just means
your president before your last was a C student.
And means that.
Matter of fact, Trump. I think Trump is a fucking what the hell was he too? I can't believe I even just said that word. But anyway, go on, brother. I'm listening.
The fact of the matter is that college, okay, where you want to go in life, it may be great as a stepping stone. I put emphasis on stepping stone because it's only a stepping stone, but it's not everything. College is the standard. Mm-hmm. It's like there's the NBA. The NBA is the standard for all basketball. College is the standard for all education. Mm-hmm. Education, not knowledge.
And then, of course, we have to be specific about the college, because community college is not the standard.
No,
depending
that's
on whatever
true.
case.
That is not true.
Okay.
That is not true.
Okay.
Where you see most smart kids, they go into Stuyvesant's and Ivy League colleges. It's more likely that they're gonna fail because where they were smart in their high school, there are billions more people smarter than them.
Well, you're right now. You're talking about the reality and the fact. The reality. I'm talking about. You said standard.
The standard for college.
Yale is held at a higher standard than DeVry.
But is it?
That's
really?
all I'm saying.
But is it really within the within? We're not gonna get into that because I have tons of information.
Okay.
We're not gonna get into that because
all I'm saying is, if I walk into a job interview, right, and I have a Yale degree, and you have a York college degree, is it safe to say that they will look at my Yale degree slightly more differently than they'll look at your York Community College degree?
Nowadays, there are different factors that go into that.
Okay. Are those factors exceptions or majorities?
Because I have friends that got into Yale, they're all dickheads, so.
But you said you're talking about. We're not talking about whether they're dickheads. We're not talking about whether they're nice, smart, none of that. We're talking about a piece of paper and a degree.
True,
with
right.
A name.
It's the same. It's all the same when you get down to it.
With a name that comes with a prestige based on the reputation of that name alone, not the individual. If I'm wearing a Gucci suit from head to toe, and you're wearing a Portobello suit from head to toe.
Portobello.
It's a cheap place that you get. Okay, I'm just describing brands. Despite who we are as individuals, all of that is irrelevant, because when somebody sees that I'm wearing a Prada or a Gucci suit from head to toe, and that you're wearing a polyester $200, $100 Portobello suit from head to toe, a natural assumption on a generalization and majority, not expectation, but majority, is going to come into the head of whoever is watching those two people and assume that the one who can afford the Prada or the Gucci shoe from head to toe, to some extent, is either more successful or has more opportunity or links in order to get or achieve that so-called suit that is considered to be one of the highest qualities of apparel. That's what I'm saying. Now, can the person in the Gucci suit, in the Prada suit, be a dumbass, a dickhead, evil, retarded, any of those things? Absolutely.
Yes.
But that's not what we're talking about, because you used the word standard.
Okay.
And standard is based on how a society... Yes. The standard is based on who said Yale is what, who said Harvard is this. Because before we knew Yale and Harvard exist, the standard didn't exist. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I get what you're saying upon the individual, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the name itself. When you hear the name Yale, when you hear the name Harvard, something pops in your head. And what pops in your head is not poverty. What pops in your head is not stupidity. What pops in your head is not low quality.
Yeah.
Even if you know people who are stupid and low quality from there, the name itself comes with a specific connotation, energy, that allows the individual that hears it to automatically go, and nobody can tell me now, I sat in circles with master degree white people because at one time in my life, I was going through my transitions and levels and wanted to be a part of organizations and certain things. I'm not going to name them. And I was in circles with these prestige people. And when I would speak to them in an articulate aspect, they would automatically assume that I was a college graduate and I'm a GED recipient. And this assumption would lead me to give them the truth that I am a GED recipient. And they would be blown away by that and couldn't even respond because they can't say that's good. And then they also can't say that's bad. So what they would say, that's interesting. Because you can't say, oh yeah, I'm a GED. Oh, that's great. You got a GED? Yeah, but see, you're talking from a different perspective, my brother.
But graduating college, okay. There, people before college existed. Everything comes in levels. Before college even existed, you had to graduate high school first. So for you to even graduate high school,
but GED is not graduating high school because I dropped out.
Okay.
And got my GED.
Okay, so
in one day. Yeah, I took the test one day, same day, passed the test, got my GED.
All right. But in that same respect, who you are shouldn't be defined as fast as it is projected in this society.
Mm-hmm.
Finding yourself and knowing who you are should be a journey, as life is a journey.
Okay.
And I don't think that we should be telling kids, oh, you should go to college. You have to go to college. You have to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in some cultures that may work. In Asian cultures that may work. In Indian, Indian, Middle Eastern, that may work because that is a true stereotype. It's a stereotype that all family, they do push them. Do they all go in the same direction? No, but it is a stigma in Asian cultures that or Middle Eastern cultures that you have to do this, you have to do that. Why? Because they come from other countries where they are thought of as lowly, or other countries where they have negative connotations to them. So that's their step up. But I'm saying you shouldn't, no matter who you are, you shouldn't be forced to, whether it works or not, being forced to know who you are right away robs you of the ability to know who you could have been, what you could be, or what you might want to be the next day, as opposed to what you were today.
Or even more simpler terms, the experience of growth.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you what you should or shouldn't do from the foundation of your
you're already robbing me of the experience that I would receive,
and the expression.
Whether or not you're right, whether or not you're right that I shouldn't do it, you shouldn't rob me of that experience. You shouldn't be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. You'd be like, you could do that, but as opposed to saying you could do that, but it's up to you.
Now, I have to go into an occult aspect because this is just what I do. I have to go into source and over surface. But we also don't understand, as adults and parents and aunts and uncles or whatever the hell we are, we don't understand that as soon as you set a form of template or assumption to any child, you are limiting the ability of that child and the expressions of that child. When that child tells you they have an imaginary friend, of course, children don't say imaginary friend. They say, hey, I saw so-and-so. And you go, where are they? Oh, they're sitting there right next to me. And you go, stop lying. And you go, this and that. We don't understand that we're indoctrinating that child with a form of ego. We're indoctrinating that child. See, the beautiful thing about a child or a baby is that
that's the age that they get to do that.
Yes, but also what I'm getting at is they are the closest representation of divinity or the side that we have been detached from as adults or as grown people. What I mean is a child will ask you 1,000 questions about anything
and not care what they're saying
or how you're going to take it, because why? They haven't developed an ego yet. Okay? Now, what I'm getting at is our parents, our aunts, our uncles, adults in our lives have forced us out of a spiritual and God mind as children and made us confined and oppressed within a state to where we have these obligations of what we should and shouldn't be within our own existence. Therefore, taking away the multitudes of experience that brings us to multiple stages that they would have never hit if they were not indoctrinated with the same concept.
Now, I want to merge this into the conversation we were having earlier about the identification.
Oh, okay, go on.
Now, the same thing you just said about that, the gender identification, how you should feel. Saying what the last thing you said about the child, being a child, the ability to feel, say whatever you want because they don't have an ego, and they can be what they want to be because we're robbing them of what they might become, the multitude of things they might become, or the experiences they might feel, because they can be whatever they want at that age or state of mind. And that being said, the thing about two genders, what were we saying about that before?
The two genders?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
You said that.
Oh shit! Damn, it's Monday, man. I just see the secret words back here just come in. Oh damn. Okay, you know what? We might have to move this somewhere else.
We can end this video and then start a new one.
Yeah, that's true. We can. Yeah, end that.